Hey guys, Jim Bounds at Motorhome Rehab Ranch over on Patreon. Ranch hands as always, hello. So I had a question for you ranch hands. Hang on. Hey babe, we're on video. Can I call you right back? Bye-bye. I burned out my battery before noon now. It's cool. Thanks for calling, guys. It's fun. So today we're going to talk about alignment. And the question was, how to kind of do alignment at home? Well, to be honest with you guys, who does an alignment on their 65 Chevy at home? Okay? Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to take the whole alignment, all 6 wheels, and put it all together and run strings back and forth and all that. No. You only need to do alignment one time, okay? And there are a lot of guys out there that do a good alignment, quality. But what I want to show you is how to get your motorhome ready for a guy to do a good alignment job, okay? So when we get finished, all they're going to need to do, you need to find a truck shop that can do a 2-wheel thrust alignment. That's what you tell them. You want a 2-wheel thrust alignment. If they say yes, I say, great, it'll all be ready to go, and all you'll need to do is align it. And that's what we're going to talk about, okay? All right. On the front end, we did a video about checking the front end. I want you to review that, okay, because you're not going to ask him to change any front suspension parts at all, okay? You're going to do all that. In a minute, we're going to talk about the front end. Right now, we're going to talk about the back end, because in most any alignment shop you look at, he'll look at that and go, what the heck is that over? They've never seen such a thing, okay? So I would tell you that we're going to be able to align the back ourselves, or at least get it where you can tell somebody what to do, okay? Now, on the rear suspension, we're assuming the frame is square. If you want to know that for sure, take a string and do an X. From one point on each side, one point, to see that it's square. Probably is, unless it's been hammered. All right, the next thing, on the rear suspension, the 2 specifications you got to worry about are camber and toe, okay? Camber, if you go to the back of the coach, now I learned all this because I had a Hunter C111, look it up, alignment machine. It was the first computer 6-wheel Hunter alignment machine available. And I ran that thing until they wouldn't fix it anymore. But out of running it, I found out that you don't need that machine to do an alignment on a GMC. You don't have to go all the way back to the well, okay? Again, we're gonna assume the frame is square, right? Let's say you go to the back of the coach and you look at it. You got the ride height set or whatever, and you look at it. Do the wheels look like this or like this? Is it towed in or cambered in or cambered out? Okay, that's what we want to know. Now, if it's straight up, the specifications are 0-0 on your camber, straight up. And visually, from the back of this coach, as big as it is, and the distance you can get back and look at it, you can see if the camber is close to straight up. You can see it. Now, say it is, it's like this. Because what happens over the years, they'll droop. Weight's like this. Now say it's like this, okay? Or say one of them is like that, okay? These are shims. Real fancy name for a piece of metal with 2 slots in it that correspond with the 2 bolts on the bogie right here. So if the bogie is sitting like this, it's bowed out, you put shims in the bogie to straighten the bogie out. You put shims in the top 2 bolts to get the bogie, the whole thing is going to straighten up. Now, if it's like this, you put it at the bottom. If it's like this, you put it at the top. Make sense? All right. Now, They're also a shim, a vertical shim. These are horizontal shims. There's also vertical shims that if you look down at the wheels, if you look down at your body, straight down, and if the wheel looks like this one's out further than this one, again, it's a visual thing. 0, 0, camber. So if it looks like this, then you'll take a shim that's a vertical shim like this. It's got a slot that corresponds with that, and you'll shim that out. Get it where the wheels look like they're straight to the body, straight down. Okay. All right, that's camber. Now toe. If you look down at the wheel and it looks like the front wheels usually will toe in, because 50 years of hitting curbs, usually the right one's going to get whacked in. It'll be pushed in. Okay, that's toed in. If your tire will be wearing on the outside edge if it's toed in like this. And this is a common situation. Okay, so if you have this, say the front ones are like this, and the back ones are like this. They're toed out, and the back wheels are wearing on the inside. All right. So what are you going to do? If you look right here, you pull this up into space right here. This is a heavy piece of metal right here. And if you take a hydraulic ram, put it between here, right here, okay, and have that hydraulic ram, you measure from the ram out. Say it's at 10 inches. Put the ram in there and you pump it out where you feel it straight, and call that 14 inches. All right? Give it 4 pumps. Bring it out. Release it. If it goes past where you want it to be, pump it up again, go another 2 pumps. What you're doing is, this arm has a flex rate built into it. What you've got to do is you got to hit that flex rate and just one more bend, and it'll straighten it out. Okay? So say to get the thing where you want it to be, you're at 10. So you pumped it to 12, went back to 10, or went worse, 14, 10, 16, 10, 17, 8, ooh, 18, boom, you're at 10. It's aligned, okay? So now it's called a pancake ram. It's a short ram, and it's going to push on this piece directly against the frame, right there. That way you pull it up into position, and that's where it's going to push, okay? Now, that's your front wheels are toed in. You're pushing against the frame. If the front wheels are toed out, which I had that happen, yeah, Tom, you remember that? We put it in the arch of the garage and pushed the ram against the front of this, pushed it in, and straightened it out. Okay. Now, one of the other dealers has a big old long rod that they bolt to the front of the drum and bend it in place. That works. Okay. Another place has a jig. They take the whole bogie off the coach, put it in the jig, heat it up and stretch it. I'm not excited about heating it up, but they say that works. But they have a jig that straightens it up. My personal opinion, I don't want to take it all apart. So pushing against the frame really seems to work with me. Okay. Now on the back, same thing. The front wheels hit the curbs and bend in. The back wheels, because they're trailing, it's a trailing arm. Remember that? It's a trailing arm. They pull in, which is perfect because we can push it back out. Okay. All right. So you take a 2x4, nice straight 2x4. Put it on the front and put it right on the front of the wheel and let it go straight to the body. Does it go straight to the body? If it does, your toe is 0, and that's what we want. We want the camber 0, and we want this toe 0. A 2x4, visually, you'll be able to see whether you have 0. And then run the 2x4 back on this wheel to see if you have 0. So that's your gauge. Okay, and if say you run it along here and the front of it's closer to the body than the back, that means that wheel needs to be pushed out or towed out. And then you push it out with that ram. Make sense? So the back end, an alignment guy won't know how to do. All right, but if you can get 0, 0, camber and tow, 0, 0, and at the same time, remember, we did a video on how to check the bogies. You pull it up into position, then pull in and out to see if you have any wear. If you have strange wear on your rear wheels, you may have a really worn out bogey pin. Okay, so at the same time you're doing your alignment, you want to check everything. We're going to talk about that in the front in a minute. In the rear, what you want to check to see if your bogey pins are tight, if your wheel bearings are tight, and stuff like that. Wheel bearings don't have anything to do with alignment. But I mean, you're in there anyway, you want to check that. All right, so to do this alignment, at home, you can align the back of it. Okay? All right, now let's go up to the front, and I'm going to show you what to do up there, okay? Come on with me. All right, we're in the front of the frame now. Isn't it cool to have a frame to be able to do this with? So, in the front end, we did a video about how to shake the front end. All right, so you shake it anywhere that's got play, you replace it. Might be expensive, whatever it is, you got to do it if you want to have a good alignment. The alignment is the last step. The deal is, if everything is tight where it's supposed to be, and it's aligned properly, it will go 70 miles an hour down the road with 2 fingers. That's a hap. If it's not doing it, then you got to go back on your yellow brick road and check it. All right? Now, if the control arm bolts here, you got them loose, you spray some spooge on there and you get them nice and loose. And the bushings are in good shape, your ball joints are in good shape, you got good shocks in it. Your steering, your relay lever here and all that stuff is in good condition. If all that stuff's in good shape, you drive it to a truck alignment place, there's got to be one in town. There's got to be one that will do a thrust alignment. He's there to make money. Okay? Thrust alignment's easy. He's going to do, again, camber, 0. Caster, 0. Not towed out, 0. This thing doesn't pull in when it torques out. 0 camber, 0 tow, and the caster, this is what you need him to do. Because it's not worth trying to figure out how to do caster. He needs to have 2 to 3 degrees of caster, and you set the passenger wheel first. You say, why? Well, the passenger wheel has taken all the curbs and the bumps and potholes and shit over the last 50 years. So the right side of the frame, chances are, has a bend to it. Chances are, all right? So you want to get your caster reading and all your readings on the caster on the right-hand side, on the passenger side first. And for you Australian guys, that's the driver's side. You want it on the American passenger side first, and then you want to align the driver's side to that one. Actually, in Australia, it would be the same thing. This side would be taking all the curbs because you're going to whack it from that side. So whatever side is opposite from the steering wheel, how's that? Do that side first because the other side will easily match it on your caster. Sometimes you may sit caster on one side and it won't do it on the other. Always do the opposite from the steering wheel. You tell that to the guys, it's all tight. When you drive out of there, it should be aligned very, very well. Should be 150, 200 bucks, something like that. It's not a big deal, okay? And pay professionals to do a quality job. This is not a hard thing to do. And by the time you learn how to do a thrust alignment, you probably run away screaming anyway. You know what I mean? All right, well, look, I hope this helps you guys on alignment at home. It can save you a lot of money. They probably wouldn't even do any of that stuff. All right, if you decide to do it and you want to talk to me about it, just give me a call. You got my phone number. That's why we're doing this, right? Don't just do it out on your own. You can't be an island. All right, thanks a lot. Like, subscribe, and what's the third one? Share. Thank you. See you next time.